Hello, welcome to Rising Technologies. I am Harish. You are watching part 9 of Core Java video tutorial. In this session, we are going to learn about overloading methods. Polymorphism is one of the major pillars of object-oriented programming. Polymorphism means ability to take more than one form. Or in simple words, polymorphism means one name, multiple methods. So method overloading is also called as function polymorphism. So using function polymorphism, it is possible to define two or more methods within a class that share the same name as long as their parameter declarations are different. Let's see a very simple practical example about this. I'm going to create a class, calculator class, and within this class I want a method that will calculate sum of two integers. So method declaration will be int sum. Int is the return type, sum is the name of method, and this method is going to receive first number and second number as parameter, and all this method is going to return addition of these two number. So return first number plus second number. Now I can have one more method with the same name, but that may take three number of arguments. So let me copy and paste this code, and this method is going to receive three arguments: first number, second number, and third number. And all this method is going to add all these numbers and return them. So as per the definition, it is possible to define two or more methods within a class that share same name as long as their parameter declarations are different. Now look at this. These two methods shares same name. The name of this method is sum, and also this method name is also sum. But this method takes two integers as a parameter, and this method takes three integers as a parameter. Now within my main program, I'm going to create an instance of this calculator class, and using this instance I can invoke these some methods. So I'm going to say system.out.println, and sum is plus calculator.sum. And now I have passed these two numbers as an argument. So among these two methods, how Java is going to determine which version of the sum method will be called over here? So Java uses the type and or number of arguments as its guide to determine which version of the overloaded method to actually call. That means when I call this sum method by passing two integers as a parameter, so Java is going to invoke the sum method that takes two integers. And now if I call the same sum method by passing three integers as a parameter, Java is going to invoke this version of the sum method that takes three integers as a parameter. Let's have a look at this. So I have called the sum method two different times by passing different number of arguments. So in this case, Java is going to invoke the sum method that takes two integers. For this particular call, Java is going to invoke the second version of sum method that takes three integers as a parameter. Let's compile this and run this. Now look at the output. 5 plus 6, that is 11. 8 plus 2 plus 3, that is 13. So this is what called as overloading of methods. So method overloading means same method name with different argument list. So remember this rule: overloaded methods must differ in their type and or number of their parameters. Now if I want to create one more sum method, and this method is going to receive two arguments of type double, and this method is going to return a double type of value. Now if I call the same method one more time by passing two arguments. Okay, so I'm passing two arguments, but currently the type of these arguments is double. So Java is going to invoke the method that has two arguments and both will be of type double. So in this case, Java is going to invoke this method. So compile this and run this. Now look at the output 5.80. See, while overloaded methods may have different return types, as you can see in this example, this method returns a double while these method returns integer. But the return type alone is not sufficient to distinguish between two versions of methods. Now what I mean by that? Now if I change the parameter type of these two methods to integer, now look at these two methods. This method returns a double, this method returns an integer, and both method expects integer type of arguments. Now if I compile this program, look at this. Method sum that takes two integer is already defined in class calculator. That means I cannot define a method that differs only in return types. Actually, overloading of methods have nothing to do with its return type. Method overloading mechanism completely depends on the type and number of arguments. Now if I change this integer to double, this program will be happily compiled. So when I say overloaded method must have a different argument list. So how can be an argument list differ? So argument list can be differ either in number of argument or in data type of argument. Now look at these two versions of some method. Both methods takes two arguments. Okay, but this method takes double type of argument, whereas this method takes integer type of argument. That means number of arguments are same, but the type of argument is different in these two versions of sum method. Now if you compare this sum method with this sum method, the type of argument is same within these two methods, but the number of arguments are different. That means while calling sum method, if I pass two integers as argument, Java is going to invoke this version of sum method that takes two integer argument. When I call the sum method by passing three integer as parameter, so Java is going to invoke this version of sum method that takes three arguments and all of them are of integer. Now if I invoke the sum method by passing two arguments, but the type of argument is now double, so Java is going to invoke this version of sum method. So this is all about method overloading. Thanks for watching. For more details, visit our official site, that is www.risingtechnologies.in. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel.